Out of all the data that I've accumulated from talking to hundreds of men across the world for the last couple of years, it seems to me that the sweet spot for females wanting to impress men on semen retention is between days 30 to 90 days. And the reason for this, now this is just the standard deviation, so it's not going to happen to every man, it's not going to happen for every man. But this is the standard deviation of what I see to be happening. And the reason for this is because, well, most men can't even get past the 2-week mark or even the week mark sometimes. And that's okay if that's you, that's fine. Just keep trying and keep moving forward. You know, we're not here to shame anybody or insult or bully anybody, but we are here to get better. So keep striving, keep moving forward there. And then on the flip side, most men don't go beyond 90 days because, well, they don't need to most of the time. Most men want to be in a relationship, or they want to be, once they get to a certain point, they're like, okay, well, let's see what happens if I relapse or whatever. Some men have done this. They've told me that they've intentionally relapsed at day like 90 to 100 or whatever because they wanted to see if they lose the benefits. Now, I don't even like to say that they're benefits per se, because it's really just you being who you are supposed to be. When you're a depleted coomer, of course you're not going to be everything that you're supposed to be. So, well, why does this happen though? Why do women seem to have this proclivity to really make a significant impact on your life? They want to impress you during, not necessarily just between days 30 to 90, but it's more like when you're on semen retention in general. Because days 30 to 90, up until you get to about day 30, it seems to be like you're on a plane, and the plane takes a lot, it needs a lot of speed and momentum to get off the ground, right? Well, that's days 0 to 30 for most guys. At least, again, and I'm not saying this is for everybody or that you should only bank on this. I'm just saying that from the data that I've accumulated, this is what it looks like. So it takes about 0 to 30 days for that airplane to finally take off. And then you get to the altitude that you need to get to, so to speak, between days 30 to 90. And once you're after 90 days, most men kind of coast at that level. You're not going to be like, obviously, anybody that's been on an airplane, once you get to that certain altitude, there's not really, there might be a little bit of turbulence, sure, but there's nothing super crazy going to be happening. This is just where you're operating now. Everything's pretty normal at this altitude. And that's where you're going to be. You're going to be at a high altitude level, spiritually, physically, emotionally, etc. And women are going to be drawn to this and they're going to want to impress you because you are grounded. You do have a sense of understanding and stability in your life. Oh, and by the way, welcome everybody to another Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change channel. I welcome you guys if this is your first time joining the channel or tuning in. I appreciate you guys also that have been tuning in for multiple videos and for months or even years at this point, so I appreciate you guys as well. But women are going to be attracted to your presence. That's really what they're most attracted to. If you can be present and you can be with the woman and you can be the cause of her emotions, that's where things are going to really shift for you in regard to how women are going to respond to you. You don't necessarily need to be the best looking guy ever, but if you can have the energy of, I don't waste my time. If you waste my time, I'm not going to speak to you. These are going to be the ways in which you can interact with me in my world. And if you're not about that, it's okay. Like, that's fine. You can just go somewhere else. If you have that energy about you, some might call it the daddy energy. I've heard this before. I don't know how I feel about calling it daddy energy. But I understand what they're saying. I understand what they're saying. And if you can just have that kind of mentality of, we're not here to play games, and I'm going to be 100% straightforward with you, and there's not going to be any problem if you do what you say you're going to do. But if you start to deviate from that, then, well, that means I can't trust you. You know, because a lot of women think that it's pressure to be around a man on semen retention, and they don't necessarily understand why they find it to be intimidating or whatnot. It's not necessarily that you're trying to be scary or anything either. You're just being your authentic self, and you are just more grounded in who you really are. And women are ultimately, that's what they want. They want a man that can get the resources and provide and protect and all these things while being who he really is. They don't really care, you know, of course, money and status and all that, that's going to be great for the superficiality of life. And you know, to live in this three-dimensional world that we live in, of course, that's going to be needed, you know. But at the end of the day, we are interdimensional beings. And if you can see the spiritual side, if you can touch the woman's spirit, that's where things are going to be really shifting for you. And you touch the woman's spirit by being the cause of her emotions. You touch a woman's spirit by actively listening to her, making her feel heard, making her feel understood. Women like this a lot more than men think. And it's not necessarily that we should be catering to the women all the time. That's not exactly what I'm saying at all, because we have a lot of social programs and societal norms that are always asking, like, well, does the guy treat the woman well? Does he treat her right? Does he do this? Does he do that? What about her, man? What is she doing for you? Is she doing anything for you other than just having a pretty face? You know, and some of these women don't even have pretty faces, and they expect the world. It's bizarre. They don't even try. You know, that's the other thing. It's I don't necessarily like makeup necessarily, but I've noticed that women, when they're trying to make it known to me that they're attracted to me, like there's women, whether I'm at the store or whether I'm at the gym or at the coffee shops or whatever, in the past, where if I was showing up a certain place at a certain time, let's say at the coffee shop, for example, I don't drink coffee anymore, at least right now. I haven't drank caffeine since September, and I haven't gone out to eat since June last year. But when I was going out to the coffee shop, I would always go out to the coffee shop at a very specific time, specific days, and I noticed that there were certain women that would start to show up when I would show up. And, you know, they would place themselves in my vicinity, and they would try to flip their hair to get my attention, and, you know, I could feel them staring at me sometimes, just because they were very upset that I was not paying attention to them. And they were trying to dress a certain way, dress more sexy, dress more, not necessarily more provocative, but definitely showing what they've got in a modest way, let's say that, where everything's covered, but things are tight, okay? Let's just leave it at that. But that's kind of natural, because the woman, she's supposed to be magnetically drawing you in. Like, that's what she's supposed to be doing. She's the one that draws you in. You're the one as the man that probes. And again, I don't know if I like that term probe, but you guys get what I'm saying here. And so the woman, even at the gym, let's say, I've had this happen in the past as well at the gym, and even to this day, but I'm thinking more about specific situations in the past where if I were to walk by the drinking fountain to get some water, and on my way back, out of the corner of my eye, I see the woman staring at me, and she starts to follow me over to where I'm at. She gets these weights, and she starts, you know, bending over certain ways and trying to really make her butt stand out. okay? Women are going to be doing this not just for the attention sometimes, even though it is going to be for attention, but because most of what women do is for attention. They just don't want to admit that. And they're going to be doing this because they know, like, you can tell the kinds of women that can feel you more than they're just trying to get your attention. You understand what I'm saying? So the women that are really feeling you, they can feel your spirit, they can feel your aura as you walk into the room and as you walk into the place. You have this cadence about you. You have the certain swag in the way you walk or something. They feel that. And you can tell the difference most of the time when you get to a certain level as a man and you've had enough experience. You can tell the kinds of women that are just wanting your attention and the women that are actually feeling you. Because the women that actually are feeling you, they're going to make sure that even if they're in a relationship or they're married or whatever, they're going to make it seem like they're not. And you got to be careful about that, because I'm not saying that you should go out that, because we follow Christ here for the most part on this channel. I know I've seen some Hindus, I know I've seen some Muslims, I know I've seen some Buddhists. You know, everybody is welcome to tune in if this is something that is giving you edification in your life. But I follow Christ, and most of the people, like in the Regal Change Academy as well, for example, are followers of Christ. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, we disregard other people for whatever they believe, but I am fully convinced that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And there's just nothing that anybody can say that can deviate me from my faith in him at this point. I have full faith in him, and I have full faith in semen retention, and why it's following God's laws, statutes, and commandments is important. But what's most important is to have faith in God. What's most important is to, in semen retention as well, remember, it's not just about attracting women. Okay, it's not just about trying to get women to lust after you, even though that's a great feeling, and that's great to have. But it's not the goal. Okay, it's not what you're supposed to be really about here on semen retention. But with all that being said, I hope this video was useful and insightful. If you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, we have the free Discord channel available as well as the paid community. In the free Discord, I just put out an ebook that you can view for free. It's just exclusive in the Regal Change Academy. We also have it in the paid community, but again, I wanted to make it free so that anybody can view it. It's just a short little ebook on family, life, and relationships and death. And so you can check that out there. We also have free meditation guides, fitness guides, etc. in there as well. And then in the paid community, we're going to be starting up another class series. We just finished the Art of War class series, and we did the 7 Deadly Sins class series a few months ago as well. And so we're going to do another class series this time around with the Legends of Stoicism, where we're going to be reading multiple different kinds of ancient Stoics and seeing their philosophy and their views of life. And then there's going to be task sheets according to the readings that we'll have in those as well. We're also going to be doing a weekly Bible study call, as well as a weekly Regal Assembly call, where we talk about a variety of different topics and subjects. We also have classes in there in the paid community that you can do on your own time. So if you don't have time to necessarily attend a class that week, you have other options as well. So you can do the Godlike Savage class, or the AI optimization class, or entrepreneurship, Nexus Attraction. We do have a Nexus Attraction course for anybody that wants to learn how to develop healthy relationships as well. So that's another option. I do appreciate everybody moving from the YouTube platform over to X, Rumble, and Instagram recently. I do appreciate your guys' extra support, and I appreciate everybody's prayers over the past few days. I've been sick for the last, 6 days now, and this is the first time I've woken up in the last 6 days where I haven't felt some kind of itching in my throat, or burning sensation in my throat, or a runny nose, or a stuffy nose, or a cough, whatever. all of this is, thank goodness that this is done. I'm just so glad that that's over. I don't know what that was, but if that was a cold, that was probably one of the worst colds I've ever had. It took everything I had to continue doing YouTube, but you know what? We're here, we're making it happen, and we're fighting till the end. So with all that being said, peace be with you all. Until next time.